Hey everyone, welcome back to another video. Thanks for joining me today. If you watched my last one, it was around my travel journal kit, which you see in front of you here. And I took you through the journal supplies I packed with me for about a month's trip away. Now that I'm back, I thought we could go through together and I'll show you what worked, what didn't work, and the things I used, as well as what I'll do differently next time. Once we've done that, I'll take you through my actual travel journal and we'll do a flip through. I'll add some photos and videos from my month away and talk mainly about the layout, when and how I journaled, what I liked, what I'd do differently next time, and I'll talk about the trip a little bit too. Let's get started and I hope you enjoy. I thought we'd start with our check-in pouch this time. Let's go ahead and open that. And we'll start off with the photo printer here. This one is a Canon QX20, and I would say that it was such a game changer on this trip. We were away for about a month and we went to 3 different places. We went to Saigon, Chiang Mai, and Eswatini, and I would say that in the past I've brought my Instax Mini, which is a Polaroid printer. However, with this one on the app you can choose a collage layout, and so I was printing out around 4 to 6 photos per paper. Now I take a lot of photos, and so that was really something that made me happy, and I wasn't worried that I was going to run out. In terms of how many pieces of paper I used 60 of the card size, and so that's all gone. And I used about 4 of the square size. This was definitely a great item to pack. For the first leg of the trip, actually only the first flight, I packed it in my hand carry, but for the rest of the trip, it went in my check-in. But definitely a game changer. Next, we'll go through my pencil case. This one here, which is a date stamper, I used every day. Great thing to have. And then I've got my tweezers and my scissors. So these obviously have to go in check-in, but again, used it every day. So these were definitely great. I had most of my highlighters on this pouch here, but I did have some in my pencil case in the check-in luggage. I use these every day and I'd have them out, and I actually think I finished up 2 or 3. I do use a lot of highlighters, which you'll see when we do our flip through. So again, I'd say, yep, that was a great thing to have. This here is a glue pen. I think I only used it twice. I'm not sure that I would pack this again because I did also have glue tape and a glue stick. This was probably not necessary. And the last thing I have are some extra pens. This one I bought in Thailand, and these 2, one is black ink and one's blue ink. These were just spares. I still use them pretty much every day or every other day, but I would say these 2 pens were the most used, and I'll show you them later. That's the pencil case. Okay, now this one here is just a booklet from Midori. It just has some plain paper, and this was really useful because what I ended up doing if I needed more space to write or if we just needed to jot down notes is I would tear out a page and then we just use that. This was really helpful to have. I don't know if I needed that much paper, to be honest, but it didn't take up too much space. Now, this was unnecessary. I packed this as a backup. I didn't even open it. Probably wouldn't bring that next time. And this one here, the last thing in here is a pouch. This was really useful because anything I collected, I would just pop in here to journal with later. And in here, I used 1 or 2 of these. I'm fine that I packed it. This one here, I didn't use at all. I thought I would use some of the shapes because they had like numbers on it and things, but unfortunately I didn't use it. I don't think I'd pack it next time. Next up, we'll talk about the main pouch here. This one was in my carry-on luggage, and I'll go through what was in here for most of the trip, and then we'll start on the flip through. I'll put a picture here from the last video. If you remember, at the back, I like to put my washi tape samplers in there. And at first, I was quite worried that I had overpacked on the washi tape, but let me show you how much I used for the entire trip. These are all empty, which is amazing. And I only have this much left, which is great. It goes to show that I am using up my washi tape, which is amazing because it means I can get new ones soon. So that's there. Nothing in here. This clamp was super helpful, and I'm glad I brought it along, especially as my journal started to get more chunky. It helped to hold the pages down, so that was great. And in terms of my highlighters and my pens, once we got to a place, I would put the rest along here so that it was easily accessible. In terms of pens, I would say I used these 2 the most, and maybe if my trip was shorter, I would only bring this. I had to change this refill once. So I'd probably just bring a refill, but I also did use these ones along the way. I'd say it's not necessary. I'm okay that I brought it this time, but maybe next time I would only bring 1 extra one. But yeah, those are the pens. And let's go inside the pouch now. In terms of tape, I think I used quite a bit, and this is almost finished, so that's great. And in terms of my glue tape, I brought 2 extra refills, and I only changed it out once. In terms of the stickers that I brought, so I'll try and put a photo here of what was in here, the sticker book that I packed, but I used up most of this sheet, which is great. And I used up all the stickers on here and these 2 pages. This is from the trip itself. Oh, actually, I think I used up all the stickers. Oh, that's great. I'm actually so happy. I have nothing to complain about there. So that's great. Here, I think I brought more than I would need. But again, this is, if I don't have this, I feel like I would regret it. So I'm okay that I packed it. Maybe I would have to take 1 or 2 out next time. Now, if you remember, I ended up making my own set of stickers that I wanted to test out on this trip. And if it went well, I would kind of redraw some of the icons and create like a travel sticker pack to sell on my online shop. And so I just want to go through what I found useful and which ones I didn't even use at all. So we'll start off with days of the week stickers. I think I did pretty well with these ones. What I expected was actually just to use a few of them up as a test, but as you'll see in my journal, because it's undated and I wrote more than 1 page each day, I actually found it so helpful to have multiple labels of what day it was on every single page. That's obviously so personal, like such a personal preference, but I really loved it. And I used up all the ones in Spanish, and I also had fun using these ones as well in Cantonese or traditional Chinese. I had these morning, afternoon, and evening stickers, and I used all of them. It was such a good idea, and I really liked that. Another thing I tried were these date stickers. And I really enjoyed using them. I love the craft one. I wish I could print on the neon paper better, but my inkjet just doesn't really print well on neon, so I'm happy with the craft. And this one here, I did some prompts. I used some of them, and others I think I either forgot to refer to this. Maybe I need to have this smaller and in the journal itself so that I can refer to it and remember to stick these down. But that was a good learning. The next thing we'll talk about are these stickers that I created, which were based around location, taste, sight, and smell. I'll put some pictures up on the screen so that you can see what the designs look like. I used icons from Google Material Icons, which are free to use. And the idea was that once I'd come back and I could see which ones I used the most, I would recreate and draw the icons out to be more in my style. I found that I used quite a few of the location icons. I used up one sheet, which I think I threw it away, and I had 2 left. So that was fine. I used up 2 full sheets of the taste, and this is all I have left from these 2. Looking through my journal, I definitely think I leaned more towards these ones. So maybe I can have more food or drink icons when I finalize this sticker pack. The next ones are the sight, so things that I saw and captured. Because I was quite limited when I was finding them through Google, I'd want to have ones that are a bit more broad, or maybe go the other way around and be really specific. But that's something for me to brainstorm and design, so that's really exciting. And the last one is smell. As you can see, I didn't really use many. I have another 2 sheets, and I think I really tried to use at least 1 or 2 stickers from it, but I'm not sure why. I just didn't lean into these ones. Maybe it's because of the icons, like the way it looked. So I will think about how I can make this better, because maybe some people like to journal and use these as references, whereas I know now that I lean more into the location and the taste and the sight. So that was a really nice experiment. I'm really excited to develop this further and come up with a travel sticker pack, or maybe even just call it a documenting sticker pack, because you don't have to necessarily be overseas to use some of these prompts or some of these, these stickers. So stay tuned. The last thing I just want to show you before we go into our flip through is one of my friends who met up with us later on was in Japan for a week. He got these for me, which was really sweet. I'll be using that probably in my daily journals. That's it with the pouches. I hope that gave you some insight into what I carry and how I used my supplies. So yeah, if you have any questions, let me know. I'll answer what I can. And let's go on to the flip through. So just to start off, we went away for about 25 days or 27 days, just under a month. And we went to Saigon, Chiang Mai, and Eswatini. And all throughout the trip, I had this sticker on this journal, Frankie the Hedgehog. And when I got back and when I finished my journal pages, I still had these stickers left. Now, because they're quite location specific, I realized that I wouldn't really use them in my daily journal. And so I decided to put them on the cover, and I really like how they turned out. Our first stop was in Vietnam, and we spent 5 days in Saigon, and we were there to celebrate a friend's wedding. So this first spread here I did mostly at the airport while we were waiting for our flight, and also on the plane over when I had some spare time. The way that I approach it is I pop the washi tape down first, I add the photo, and then I start to decorate around. And something to note as well is that I occasionally flip back through my pages while I'm on holiday or even when I come back, and I continue to add decorative stickers like these and these. I don't finish the spread all in one go before I move on to the next page or the next day. And that way it allows me not to get so stuck on trying to finish a layout or finish talking about one day, and I can just move on and come back. Another thing that I did was create these illustrations and make them into stickers to hand out while I was traveling. I found that it was really fun and quite easy to hand out, especially if I was at a cafe or buying something from a store. I would just say, thank you, here's like a sticker for you. Would you like it? And the response was always really nice. And I think I would love to continue doing that in my future trips. So already here, I've started to collect things from the plane. This is packaging from the peanuts that we got. This is a toothpick packaging, and I think this is from the cutlery as well, from one of the meals. And over here, I tried to write with less of a space or less of a gap between each line. It doesn't come so natural, and so I thought, well, I have quite a few pages in this notebook anyway. I just continued to write how I normally do in my journals, which has more gap between each line. On some of them, I underlined it, but I think as we go on, I stopped doing that, probably because it takes a bit more time. And you can see that I use the date stickers along the side. Here it says afternoon, so I know that this portion here talks about, the afternoon. Here it probably talks about our flight. That one, there must be something to do with food over there. And so I think that's something I want to develop on in my travel sticker pack or my documenting pack. I think that'd be really nice. This one over here is a really sweet note. I was talking to the flight attendant, and we initially started talking because she mentioned something about my journal pouch and how I had all these highlighters. I showed her my journal and how I was going to decorate it along my trip. And so she handed me these stickers here, and in exchange I handed her my stickers, and then I asked her if she wouldn't mind writing me a note, and it was really nice. So I think I only did this twice, and I wish I had done it more, but that's okay. I'd love to do more things like this where I ask someone to write a note for me or, just exchange something. I think that'd be really cute. Here's a voucher I collected and popped a sticker on there. This is from a sticker pack. I think I tried to put this receipt down, but it faded. I think because I added this tape on top, and it faded pretty much overnight. So I ended up just putting more stickers on here. But yeah, and here I'm using my stamp. So you can see that it's really colorful, and I like that I have to flip things up to kind of see what's underneath, and it's really interactive, which I like. And so here again, you can see that I have my washi on the side. I've got my photos that I cut into smaller rectangles, and then my text, and I've got my reference points. And of course I have my multiple references to what day it is. This one here is known, I think, as the Cafe Apartments, and so when we visited it, we took the lift all the way up, and then we made our way down slowly, and we visited some of the shops and just generally had fun looking around and taking photos. And I think this is a photo of what it looks like. If I can, I'll pop a photo up here so you can see it better. Here, my friend left a review after he went for, I think for a massage. Yeah. And so they gave him some handmade soap, and I kept the packaging. Over here, you can see I attempted to squish my writing a bit again. I think even as I was writing it, I really didn't enjoy it. And so this is the only page where everything is just squished, like you can see all of this. And I tried to highlight in 2 different colors. This is something I used to do in my old journals. I'm glad that I tried it earlier on and I didn't enjoy doing it. And so the rest of the journal is not like this. It's really fun to experiment and to see what works and what doesn't work. And so yeah, I think it's really funny because I wrote here, it's like I'm running out of space. But I have so many pages, so it's okay that my handwriting is large and I like gaps between them. And so I think here, the 2nd of August, is the first day that I tried doing multiple photos in one paper, and I cut the bottom off. And from here, it made me so happy because I was getting really nervous about running out of photo paper. And once I started to do this, something in my brain just went, yay! I could just take as many photos as I wanted and print them all out. As long as I printed the photos and had them in here, it was way easier for me to go back and fill out my day and write about it. So I think this is something that I learned about myself, maybe, knowing that I have to be able to print photos so that I can keep up with the journaling and to have that flow. Something else that I did as well was take lots of notes using my phone. And so when I came back to journal, I had photo references plus I had my notes. As I mentioned earlier, I think I'm not someone who can journal on the go. And instead I prefer to come back in the afternoon or at the end of our day and just make some notes. And again, I didn't complete all of this in one day. Maybe I would do the washi, stick the photos down, do the highlighting, and then come back later and fill it out. And I love how it's turned out. I love the colors. I love the textures. I'm just really happy with it. All right, so the next few pages are of the wedding day. So I'm just going to skip those and we'll move to the day after. Over here, I collected some chopstick packaging and I wrote down what we had for our last group dinner. I also took this coaster, and because it's quite thick, what I ended up doing was putting it in my check-in luggage in that plastic pouch, and I added it in when I finished journaling, just so it wouldn't interfere with the pages when I'm writing. That's actually the end of the first leg of our trip, which was over 5 days. Overall, I would say we had such a lovely time, not only celebrating our friend's wedding and, like the group lunches or group dinners, but also getting a chance to walk around, explore, and of course, check out stationery shops. The last time we were here was in 2014. We're actually really excited to go back in the future and explore more of Vietnam. So for the next portion of our trip, we spent 2 weeks in Chiang Mai. And over here is the journey to there. So we flew to Bangkok and then to Chiang Mai. Giant fork. That's all I have to say about that. Here's Bob doing some admin work while I'm sitting across from him sticking washi on my pages so that I could prep them. Yeah. I really love this page. It's got all the blues and the purples. It's got stickers from baggage claim. This is the wet wipe that they give you on the plane. And this here is packaging from this wrap. And here I took a photo as we took off from Vietnam, and then here just before we were landing in Thailand. There's so much going on. I love it. As we go through the next couple of days or the weeks in Chiang Mai, this is probably the layout that you'll see over and over again. I think by this point I had gotten really comfortable with knowing that I liked washi on the page, knowing that I liked my photos, and then writing about what we did. Something else that's quite surprising is that I don't normally write this much in my daily journals, so it's really nice to see that I got a chance to just write random things, really. This is packaging from this place called Playworks, where I bought some stationery and postcards. And here we were talking about wanting to take more photos together. Just coincidentally found this photo booth which was themed, and so it was this cowboy theme. And I'll put a clip here because they actually put all your photos together and send you like a quick slideshow of it. So I'll pop it up here on screen so you can see it. It made me laugh so much. This one here is a doily. I can't remember where I took it from, probably the hotel. And this is a luggage tag that I just put on at the end. I really like that there are many just random things on the page. This one is a postcard that I got. Here I ran out of floss, so we went to buy some. More sticker packaging. And this place here was really lovely. I'll put some clips up later. It is an art and craft culture center, and it has many different sections for you to walk around. And it was really lovely because you can just sit down and take in the sights. And that's kind of the layout of it. Over here, we visited an artist studio. Their brand is called Never Hate Drawing. Yes, Never Hate Drawing, and the artist's name is Ken, and it was really, really cool to see all of his work and chat to him and just, we ended up buying a whole bunch of stickers, and I handed them out to my colleagues, and my husband did the same, and they were really like vibrant and colorful. That's his brand there. And he gave me this postcard, which is so lovely. And yeah, that's just an example of the type of art he does. This here is the mini bar Pringles that we couldn't resist. And this, I think, is kind of like bak phayao or tiger balm, something similar that you inhale. I think so. Anyway, it feels really nice. It's like got a texture on it. This coffee here tasted like Melbourne coffee, which was really nice. But overall, I have to say that the food and the drink options were just amazing. Everything was so good. Zero complaints. Here we tried this dish called khao soi. It's a popular northern dish and it was a little bit spicy for me. My spice tolerance is not high at all, but it was so delicious. I think we went back here maybe twice or 3 times. This one here was a sign at the gym that said, if you still look cute at the end of your workout, you didn't train hard enough. So I pulled my best struggle face. And then of course next to it is this really delicious dessert that we had later on. Well deserved, I would say. Over here we did a bit more exploring. It was so much fun to walk around and people watch and just take in the town and the different streets. I had so much fun doing that. And over here, this was probably in my top eats for this area. It was a place called the Post Office Pork Rice, and it's in front of a post office. I think they open at a certain time for dinner and then they close once they sell out. So this was some pork on rice with a side of preserved vegetables and egg. And I think that's what they specialize in, so that's their main dish. I always get bitten by mosquitoes and bugs, and they always tend to bite my fingers. It doesn't look that bad in the photo, but my entire finger was just covered in bites. And it's always on the left hand as well, so it was a little itchy to write. This was a tour that we decided to do. It was kind of called, I think it's called a sunrise tour, and your guide is someone who was an ex-monk. We got up at around 3:50 in the morning or 4 a.m. and the tour started at 5. We got to see the sunrise from one of the highest points in Chiang Mai and visit a few temples and just learn more about the culture, it's always a nice thing to do, especially when I don't know much about it. We also saw this giant frog over here, and I'll put a close-up photo of it because I've never seen such a big frog. Oh, and over here, Bub tried coffee and orange juice, which I think can be a dangerous combo when you're out on a tour, but he really liked it. So there's that. Oh, this was the sticker from this. And here I got to save some of the tickets, so that was nice. I didn't cut this out, by the way. This was how it was given, so I'm guessing it's like a hole punch to show that you've paid for your ticket and that it's been used. After the tour, my husband decided to relax, which was a really good idea. And what I did instead was go to check out this market. Because the tour ended pretty early, we had the rest of the day. When I got to this market, it was really lovely, but I was so tired and it was so hot that in about, I think, half an hour to 45 minutes, I couldn't handle it. And it just so happened that evening was a Sunday market, and it was really amazing to see all these vendors set up and take over the street and then watch everything come to life and just walk around and eat all the street food and see all the crafts and things. This was a place that we went to for dessert, and I'll pop a photo on here so you can see it a bit closer, but it was really cool. All the walls were covered in post-it notes and photos and like creepy little dolls and all these like decorations. I gave the staff my stickers and they said they would pop it on there. So I'm really excited to know where Frankie the Hedgehog has ended up in this entire store. It's quite obvious now the layout that I'm doing on each page. I think there's enough differentiation in the placement of the photos and kind of choosing how it looks. So here there are 4 images, here there are 3, and the highlighter as well helps to differentiate the days. along with obviously my many labels of what day it is. So I think I am really happy with how it turned out. Over here, my husband went to visit an insect museum or a bug museum, and I was off doing something else, but he still got me like a little thing that I could stick in, which is really nice. I am quite scared of insects, so he did say that I probably would have freaked out, but I still think it's nice that he documented this so that I could stick it in here and talk about it. Here is, I think this sticker came with one of the dishes, and it was really hard for me to peel it off. As you can see, I ruined half of it because I'm just so aggressive with how I peel them off, but I think I still managed to save it, so it's good effort. Here is our second last day, and yep, I wrote, I'm so sad that we're leaving tomorrow. I went to visit a stationery store, and when I walked in, the smells in the store brought me back to the stores I used to visit when I was a child. I'll pop like a clip or a photo here so you can see, but these are kind of the stationery stores I grew up with, and I just really loved being in there and just seeing everything. I was just so happy that I asked one of the ladies behind the counter if I could take a photo with her, and she was so kind to say yes. So that's just such a cute memory for me. And at the same time, I think my husband was in another store doing the same thing. We went back to the pork rice place in front of the post office. I think this was our final dinner in Thailand. I asked if we could take a photo together with one of the owners, and they were so lovely to say yes. But yeah, we just had such a good time. This was the last morning in Chiang Mai before we headed off to Eswatini. So this is probably the start of our really long journey, and I would say I think this is kind of where I caught my cold on the way. We still managed to sneak in some lunch and take some pictures with... So I think this is the owner of It's Good Kitchen, and she recognized my husband as we were walking, and so she like ran out of the restaurant and said, "Thank you for coming to visit my restaurant, and here's a little gift for you." It's just the hospitality and the service of people there, and just interactions like these, it really makes your trip. I hope we get to go back soon because we really enjoyed our time there. Okay, so over here we fly to Hong Kong, we have a really short transit, and then we're on our way to Johannesburg. This is the menu from the plane, and this is what I had. I think this is where I I caught a cold during this journey. Unfortunately, for the rest of the trip, I don't have too many activities or photos that I did. We were here for a friend's wedding, so I spent kind of a few days just really trying to rest and recover for it. Oh, I like that I still managed to get in some photos of some food. And then yes, this is what I collected to stick in all the different medicine packaging. Over here, we booked a safari and went as a group. So there were 4 of us, and that was a really interesting experience. I don't think I've done something like this before, and to see rhinos so close. So that was a new experience for me as well. Also over here, I decided to stay back and again try and just rest because I wasn't getting better. and I saw these male peacocks doing their little dance, which was so impressive actually. I've never seen it before, so I'll put a photo or a clip here so that you can see in case you haven't seen one before. Over here there was where we were staying a short blackout. It probably only lasted about 20 to 30 minutes, but I was alone this evening, so I got a little worried, but all good. And over here, just basically trying to have tea and get better. The next few pages are of the second wedding. The next day, again, when everyone went out to do a group thing, I stayed back, and I'm really glad I did because this was our last day, our last full day before we flew back to Melbourne. Yeah, I just kind of watched a few peacocks and sat somewhere and journaled for the day. And this is really interesting, again, for men. It's the second time, I guess, we're seeing it because the first time was on that soap packaging in Vietnam. So I wonder what is the strategy behind this. I'm going to have to look it up. But yeah, I'm quite surprised because I wasn't feeling well. I didn't get to take that many photos in this last week, but it seems like I still had things to talk about, which is great. And so here is some currency that we had left, so I stuck that in. And then we're on the way from Eswatini to Johannesburg to Sydney to Melbourne. So that was a fairly long journey back. And here is the menu, which I stuck in. And I think that here I'm just kind of wrapping up what I thought of the trip. So before we wrap up this flip through, something that I just wanted to also talk about is how often did I journal? Earlier I said I wasn't someone, or I realized I'm not someone who can kind of carry this throughout the day and journal in it. So what I would do is decorate some of the pages, make sure that I could print the photos out maybe that evening, or kind of after like 2 days, print out as many photos as I could, stick them down, and then just come back and write. And the way that I did it, I think after Vietnam, I counted how many pages I had left, and then I kind of allocated, let's say 4 pages per day. I think 3 to 4. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so 5. And then 1, 2, 3. Oh, so I guess maybe 3 to 5. And then I would like pre-decorate it, stick the photos in, and then come back and write about it using my notes that I would take on my phone. The last sort of decorations with the stickers and the decorative stickers as well would be done, again, coming back at a later stage until I was happy with the layout. I've probably flipped through this so many times since I've been back because I just had such a lovely time. And also, I don't think I visited 3 different places in such a short span. But yeah, thank you for joining me in this flip through. I really hope you enjoyed it. I hope that, I spoke enough about the trip versus the journaling and had like some interesting clips and photos in there. If there's something more that you would like to see, or what are you interested in hearing with these kind of flip throughs, let me know and I'll keep that in mind for my next trip. Thank you and see you in the next one.